Hello and welcome again to Not Fake News. Don't forget to share, subscribe, and smash that like button. You know, a while back I did a video, and I did a lot of videos, but there was this one video where Nancy DeVos, I think her name is Nancy. It's definitely DeVos. She's the school, the person in charge of the schools, the education. Trump appointed her. And Department of Education, right? And I saw her walking in for her first visit, and she was attacked by a bunch of Antifa ISIS members, right? I call them ISIS now. Antifa-ists. And I said at that point, you know what she needs? Because she had a bunch of wimps around her, weren't doing a damn thing. All she needs, and there won't be any commotion, there won't be any touching. They were pushing. They were doing all kinds of things. They actually assaulted. It was a little bit rough. Let's just put it that way. All you need is a bunch of gangsters in Tacchini suits. Sergio Tacchini, Fila, just all decked out, walking with her. Big fat ones. Just about 6, maybe 4. And done. Nobody would be Antifa-ing this woman ever again. And that's just something that entered my mind while I was watching that. Now, 6 months later, 5 months later, we have this guy, the first of his kind to offer his help. Let's do this. Mob boss has a strong message for terrorists.
Well, our country's fight against terrorism has a new, seemingly unlikely ally, a former mob boss. Ralph Natale is now 82 years old. He ran the mafia in Philadelphia and says the greatest threat facing our nation today is terrorism. And when it comes to dealing with the terrorists, he says he knows exactly what to do. And he told me he is more than willing to do it himself.
Damn!
We sat down with him for our exclusive Fox News interview.
Any man that didn't want to be a boss of a family had no manhood in him.
He was the first American mafia boss to flick and testify for the government. Now former mobster Ralph Natale has written the story of his life and life in the mob called Last Don Standing, The Secret Life of Mob Boss Ralph Natale.
I never heard a man that would...
It's not pronounced Natale, by the way. It's Ralph Natale. Natale.
Innocent, a hard worker. I never touched a woman. Never touched them, and another child, they never.
Natale became head of the Philadelphia Mafia in the late 1990s, brought in by the legendary mob boss Angelo Bruno, who ended up getting shotgunned to death in his car in 1980. Natale has been luckier. He survived and thrived in the city of brotherly love before the feds finally caught up with him in 2005. He was sentenced to 13 years in prison on racketeering, drug, and bribery charges. But today, he worries about another threat, terrorism, and fears the nation has not done enough to defeat it. Do you think we've been too easy?
Oh, we're pussycats.
On terrorism.
On terrorists. On terrorists.
Pussycats.
Pussycats.
What should we do?
Kill them.
Kill him.
Natale was astounded that the Manchester bomber, Salam Abedi, was known to authorities, and says, just like in the mob, he would take care of the problem himself.
I wish I could get 4 more in me. The government would have to pay, but they would be glad to be. As soon as they will point out a crew, that's just the way they're meeting, they're going to go kill people. Their own kind, white, black, they'll kill anybody. Give me their names, I'll take care of business.
You would...
I would kill them all. I would kill them. Yes, I will.
You would kill the terrorists.
I would kill them immediately, and then I would hang them in front of their houses, and then call the newspaper. The inquiry. Listen, come and see what happened to those people. That's how you stop. You can't stop them. That's what I would do. I said, boy, I could make a nice living, and I could enjoy it. I would be able to do it. And my wife said, that's great. It's not crazy.
His offer is one the government would likely refuse. But Natale worries that terrorism will remain with us.
I have 10 grandchildren, and I have 11 great-grandchildren. So long after I'm in the dirt, they're going to have to put up with this here. It's got to be done. It's got to be done now. There's an old Italian saying, if you don't listen to the first note, you'll never hear the rest of the song. That's what's happening today. They call me a killer, cold-hearted. I never heard anybody that didn't deserve dying. I never did. And when it comes my time, I just want to get off a shot if I got something with me.
Well, Talley's book, Last Don Standing, does detail his decades of life in the mob. And about those terrorists, well, my colleague from Fox 29 Philadelphia, the veteran correspondent Dave Schrottweiser, who's covered Natali for years, where he said, quote, "The wise guys like to say the Fed should spend their time and resources tracking the terrorists, not mobsters. But with guys like Natali around," he says, "they better keep an eye on both." Natali, though, insists he is retired, but as you heard, he told me, if need be, he's ready to protect our country his way. And boy, is he blunt.
That was fascinating.
Damn straight it was fascinating. You damn straight it was. Thanks for watching, everybody. Whatever. We're good, right? Don't forget to share, subscribe, and smash that like button. So if you like that video, you will love the one we have right where those arrows are pointing. See that right there? Click on it, and then I can show you another video. It's just like this one, only I say different words and the story changes. Hello and welcome again to Not Fake News. Don't forget to share, subscribe, and smash that like button. We have a bunch of breaking stories to get to right now, so let's do this. Look what we just found. Mommy and Daddy to be, Laura Lee Trump and Eric Trump. Congratulations. Can't wait to meet him. Make America great again. Alright, next story. Amy Holmes has just exposed them all. This has to go viral. Rasmussen reports political analyst and former The Blaze anchor Amy Holmes has exposed the mainstream media's complete bias against President Trump.
I don't know how they did it, but they did it at length. I mean, CNN apparently went on for hours and hours with this false news. And, you know, when they found out that it was false, you know, given Mr. Comey's testimony, they didn't actually correct the record. They didn't say, we were wrong, we got that totally wrong. And in fact, James Comey confirmed that he told the president on 3 separate occasions that he was not personally under investigation. But if you notice, Howie, these stories always tend to go in one direction, and that's against the president. So you even see the bias when the stories don't get it right.
Yeah. Yeah, you. I've seen you. 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 Our mainstream media can't even get the bias right. Freaking idiots. Next. Look what Fox News just uncovered about the march against Sharia law that the left does not want you to see. Seattle, New York, Minneapolis, Austin. The left-leaning mainstream media turned Saturday's march against Sharia law into an anti-Islamic protest. Fox News has exposed this fallacy.
hundreds of people across the country protesting Sharia law yesterday, but the mainstream media made it all about Islam.
The clash is erupting into brawls here at home over Islam. Protesters and counter-protesters squaring off across the country tonight, either against the threat of Islamic law or in defense of Muslim Americans.
Activists say anti-Sharia groups promote a distorted view of Islam.
So it was a protest against Sharia law, but it did become all about Islam. This is something, Pete, that you have dived right into.
Yeah, we knew predictably the mainstream media would characterize it as such. So there was one of these protests, these rallies here in New York City. So I hit the streets yesterday to talk to some folks that were there and asked them, why are you here? What are you doing exercising your First Amendment right? What's it all about? And this is what they had to say.
Today there's a protest going on to protest Sharia law, which is an extreme version of Islam.
I don't think that killing people or mistreating women is a religion.
So you're not out here, are you out here protesting against Islam or against Sharia law?
Against Sharia law. I have nothing against law.
I want to make sure that we're aware of everything that Sharia is, everything extremist Islam stands for, and we're aware of the dangers.
Are you here to protest against Islam?
It's not against Islam. It's against Sharia law.
Every radical Islam comes from their law. I mean, do we have to stop that already? America had to be strong about this.
It's not about being against Muslims. It's just being against the ideology of, I guess, murdering homosexuals and treating women as a second class, maybe under a second class citizen, just dehumanizing.
Over in Britain, they were just frogs boiling in water, and now they're dead.
Critics will say that you're anti-Muslim. Are you anti-Muslim?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think what needs to happen really is a reformation of the religion from the inside. And I feel like that needs to start with Muslims. So we need Muslims. The fact is that none of these people would want to kick out Muslims from this country. That's not what we're about here. At least that's my understanding of America.
Yeah, and that's what I heard across the board. We talked to a bunch of folks down there. This was one of 28 protests across the country. Some did include clashes with counter-protesters. So the Antifa, the anti-fascist, wearing all black and masks were out there to confront. But I think what you find are groups of patriots who say, you look what happens in Europe, you look at the contentions they're having and terrorist attacks they've had. How do we make sure that American values are perpetuated here and that things like Sharia law, which is an extreme form of Islam, are not implemented subtly or directly? And that's ultimately what they said. And they pointed to the Constitution and said, hey, we've got a First Amendment right to stand up for the values that have always made America great. So it was always enjoyable to go out there and
good stuff. And you got right in there and got the story for us. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, so Antifa means anti-fascist, but they are the fascist ones. So we can't call them Antifa. Can't let them have that. That's a lie. They're FA. They're not Antifa. They're FA. They're fascists. They're ISIS now. They're like mini junior varsity ISIS members. So let's call them fascists. How's that sound? Fascists? So fascists. Not Antifa. It's fascists. Because they're fascist ISIS members. Thank you. Next. Fascists. Remember that. Comment below fascists. I won't remember. Breaking. Look who just called for an end to special counsel. This is big. Okay? Big with a capital B-I-G. If you think it's time to end the collusion witch hunt, please share and comment below. Former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich has called for the abolishment of the special counsel in the Russia investigation, citing James Comey's testimony. The Hill reported former House Speaker Newt Gingrich slammed former FBI Director James Comey on Sunday, accusing him of manipulating the investigation into Russian election meddling and calling for Congress to dismiss the special counsel entirely. It's very clear that Comey hates Trump, Gingrich told radio host John Katsmidadis. Comey is clearly extraordinarily hostile to Trump. I think Congress should now intervene and they should abolish the independent counsel because Comey makes so clear that his position it's the poisoned fruit of a deliberate manipulation by the FBI director leaking to the New York Times deliberately set up this particular situation. It's very sick. Gingrich's comments followed Comey's testimony before the Senate Intelligence Committee on Thursday, in which he told lawmakers that if he had instructed a friend to share the unclassified info of an interaction between him and President Trump with the reporter. That memo detailed a February meeting in which Trump allegedly pressed Comey to drop the FBI investigation into former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. Comey said that by leaking the memo, he had hoped to prompt the Justice Department to appoint a special counsel to lead the Russia probe. A day after the New York Times published the article detailing that memo, Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein appointed the former FBI Director Robert Mueller as a special counsel to investigation. So it worked. Him leaking it to the press in hopes of a special counsel worked. One day later, they got a special counsel. Trump's personal attorney, Mark Kaltowitz, accused Comey of leaking so privileged communications with the president and suggested the former top cop should be investigated for doing so. Finally, CNN just admitted everything. The witch hunt must end. After Comey's testimony, CNN finally admitted that the Russian investigation is an anti-Trump witch hunt. Really? CNN reported the lead up to James Comey's testimony before the Senate Intelligence Committee, the mainstream media hyped the event as a blockbuster television event of the summer, promising fireworks and ground-shaking revelations. But once the hearing started, the left's narrative quickly evaporated. Instead of the American people witnessing a thorough debunking of the mainstream, the American people witnessed a thorough debunking of the mainstream media's false reporting and Democrats' anti-Trump hysteria. Their story crumbled as Comey repeatedly confirmed key facts highlighted by the President Trump in recent weeks. Specifically, Comey clearly stated that the President Trump was at no point a subject of any investigation. The former FBI director also made clear that President Trump never asked for the Russia investigation to be dropped. These points were so clear that even ultra-liberal MSNBC host Chris Matthews admitted that Trump-Russia collusion narrative came apart with Comey's testimony. The former director put it simply: there have been many stories based on, well, lots of stuff, but about Russia that are all dead wrong. In an effort to pad their fact-free reporting, the mainstream media has become highly relevant on anonymous sources, and it speaks volumes that it took the Senate Intelligence Committee hearing before the former FBI director to bring the truth to light. In fact, Senator Tom Cotton from Arkansas sought further clarification by pointing and asking about much-discussed New York Times story from February titled "Trump Campaign Aides Had Repeated Contacts with Russian Intelligence." Comey did not mince words by responding that the Times story was not true. He says yes when Cotton asked if the article was almost entirely wrong. Comey used an Idaho Republican Senator Jim Rice's question on Times false reporting as an opportunity to expand on the challenge with the media reporting using classified information and anonymous sourcing. He put it simply: the people who are talking about it often don't really know what's going on, and the people who know what's going on aren't talking about it. I added that because I remember his word for word what he said. In fact, Senator Tom Cotton from Arkansas sought further clarification. See, that's a double. That's a double right there. He went on to explain department policy that those of us who actually know what's going on are not talking about it, see? And we don't call the press to say, hey, you got that thing wrong about that sensitive topic. We just have to leave it there, he said. This just further underscores the problems the administration has been pointing all along using unidentified sources and rumors. Another line of questioning this time from the Republican Senator Marco Rubio from Florida on leaks of the press highlighted the agenda of the mainstream media to use leaks to harm the president, but also forced Comey to admit to himself that he leaked damaging information about the president. Rubio astutely observed, the only thing that's ever not been leaked is the fact that the president was not personally under investigation. Why? Because it didn't fit the left's Russian narrative? While Comey's testimony revealed no new information regarding President Trump, we did learn a great deal about his concerns regarding the previous administrations, specifically the apparent obstruction arising from former Attorney General Loretta Lynch in the FBI Hillary Clinton email investigation. It's clear that the Obama administration has serious new questions to answer based on Comey's testimony. The Comey hearing ended up being a bust for those Democrats peddling conspiracy theories about Trump and Russia, and even more embarrassing for the media outlets fueling the hysteria with inaccurate reporting. It's past time for the witch hunt to end, and hopefully Comey's testimonies help hasten its demise. It sure did. It sure did. Thanks for watching, folks. Please stop off at our store, pick up a shirt, a mug, help support the channel, and remember, keep watching, keep fighting. You are the resistance. Vote every election. So if you like that video, you will love the one we picked right for you, right where those arrows are pointing. See? Ding, 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 ding. Click on it, and I'll see you in a moment. Thanks for watching the news channel that doesn't lie to your face. Not fake news.